Nothing particularly interesting about this. We got overall structure. We've got a normal passage. Let's just dive right in and see what we can find. In the Here and Now storybook, educator Lucy Sprague Mitchell advanced the then controversial idea that books for very young children should imitate how they use language, since toddlers who cannot yet grasp narrative or abstract ideas seek reassurance in verbal repetition and naming. That's a lot in that passage, in that sentence, but we'll just move on. Maybe controversial is important. The most enduring example of this, idea is Margaret Wise Brown's 1947 picture book Goodnight Moon, in which a young rabbit names the objects in his room as he drifts off to sleep. Scholars note that the book's emphasis on repetition, rhythm, and nonsense rhyme speaks directly to Mitchell's influence. Okay, so notice it's not about the controversy. At least I don't think so, right? It's about the fact that here's this person who had this idea. Here's an example of that, right? That's it. So let's just go to the choices, see what this is. But this is a very common type of passage. Here's a theory or an idea, a theory, a hypothesis, something. Here's an example of it working, and let's just see what we get. A, the text outlines a debate, between two authors of children's literature and then traces how that debate shaped theories on early childhood education. No, the second person is not arguing with the first person. She is an example of the first person. No. B, the text summarizes an argument about how children's literature should be evaluated and then discusses a contrasting view. Again, notice both of those choices much more tempting if we go back to that word controversial, right? So the word that I did think that would matter, I end up kind of dismissing because the rest of the passage kind of ignores that. Right? There is no controversy here. This is an example. They're just providing more evidence of this thing. Maybe it was a controversial at the time, and there's another version of this passage out there somewhere that gets into that controversy, but it's not here. It's not here. C, the text lists the literary characteristics that are common to many classics of children's literature, and then indicates the narrative subjects that are most appropriate for young children. Ooh, a lot of bad things here. So, first of all, it's not about many classics of children's literature. This is one person's theory and one type of book. So there are others, and I don't know how many of them there are, right? Plus, they're not arguing this is the most appropriate thing. They're just saying this is good, right? Or this is an example of how it could be. It doesn't have to be this way. There is no consensus that this person's theory is the best theory. So most appropriate, notice these are quantifier words. Also a little bit of comparison words, and notice how quickly I noticed them. Notice how quickly I noticed these words in the choice, because that's really what it's all about. And if you can do that quickly and confidently, you'll spot trap answers and be able to eliminate them very, very quickly. D, the text presents a philosophy about what materially is most suitable, there's that most again, for children's literature, and then describes a book influenced by that philosophy. So it does have the quantifier, but here it's not arguing that it is the most suitable. It's saying that the person said that it's the most suitable, right? So Mitchell advanced the then controversial idea that the books for very young should imitate how they use language, right? Even that, I feel like I don't love this. I don't. It's scary, but I'm okay with it because the other ones are so bad. Because yes, it is a philosophy about the material that should be in children's books. And then it does have an example of an example of a book that's influenced by that philosophy. So like this is generally correct. And this just goes to show that even though strong words are not always wrong, but you can see there's a lot of good in D, and that one most suitable thing I'm able to be like, okay, I can see it, right? That this person she's saying it's the most suitable, right? Lucy Sprague Mitchell is saying this, and maybe it was controversial that she said that. The passage itself is not taking a stance on that, right? C is making it seem like the passage is saying that. Indicates the narrative subjects that are most appropriate. No, the text is not doing that. It is not taking a side. It is much more informative, but yes, D lets us kind of get away with it being someone else's side, someone else's opinion. There's no doubt in my mind about this question. This is not hard, but I do think it gets to something we see in lots of cases. Even on relatively easy questions, there are these trap answers, and you don't want to just cross something out because it feels wrong. Oh, it's not about that. What's the that? Specify the that. What are the words that are bothering you? What are the phrases that are bothering you? The more you can do that, even on easy stuff, the better you'll be when it's really necessary on the hard stuff.